Wednesday night, Nashville Fairgrounds. Here we go. Here we go. Your Xfinity series is back on Racers Elite Network, and we are bringing this here to the really right outside of the Country Music Hall of Fame, and we are going to go old school, get back to the Nashville Fairgrounds. And man, you might have seen us on these concrete tracks here at Nashville, but don't forget where we used to run here on Friday and Saturday nights in Nashville, and that is right here at these fairgrounds. We're bringing these Xfinity cars to you. As always, John Ross here in the booth with Russ Martin. Russ, how are you doing tonight?
Well, pretty good, John. We had a really good race last night. We saw Truth Hope take home the victory in the Truck Series, and we had a really good battle for second going on, and looking forward to more of the same here tonight.
Yeah, and we are in round 2 of our playoffs for this season 6 here at Racers Elite in the Xfinity Series. We've got a couple of people out. They've got real life stuff going on, and we certainly understand and appreciate that. But these drivers that's going to take the field tonight, about 9 or 10 of them, are going to see 122-degree track temperature as they are going to slip and slide around this little paper clip here that's about half a mile. And we were talking a little bit before this thing got rolling, Russ, and this thing seems like almost a mini Rockingham. Really bumpy, down low, pretty high banking there through both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 for that matter. And this thing is going to be slick on exit.
Yeah, and then you add in the aspect of the Xfinity car, which is kind of got that stiffer suspension than what the trucks or the Xfinity or the next gen may or may not have. But you add those two beasts together, and yeah, it's going to make for a slick, slippery, and interesting race.
It is going to be a very interesting race. And now we want to pop up our points because I want everyone to take a look at where our top 12 stand. Now, this will be quite the shakeup as we do have some drivers that are not here tonight. Brandon Honeycutt is your points leader. He will not take the field. He was out for the truck race last night, too, so I do believe he is out of town and unable to race. Andrew is sitting second. Truth is in third. Sean Dunaway in fourth. Cody Bonelli fifth, tied with Lee Campbell. Sean Merriman's in seventh. Kirby Wainscott eighth. Ryan is in ninth, tied with Aaron. Aaron Roth in 11th, and then Cooper's going to round out your top 12 here, Russ. But it does look like we're going to have a pretty big shakeup here in the points after this one's over.
Yeah, sometimes it's tough. Real life gets in the way, and you got to miss a race here or there, and it kind of hurts you in the points. So yeah, we're going to definitely see a mix-up after tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, it is going to be all shook up, man. I can't wait for this thing. We have not been to Nashville, to the fairgrounds, and been able to call a race here, so I'm very excited about that, Russ. And just a little bit of background, I do live in the Nashville area, and I have spent many nights sitting in these bleachers watching cars go around this track. As a matter of fact, just to age myself a little bit, I've seen Bill Elliott make laps around this track. The Hamilton and Hamilton Jr. were staples here at Nashville. So this one is very near and dear to my heart. As a matter of fact, this thing is so small, you can see some of the pit stalls are actually in the Legends track there on the infield. But we talked about that a little bit too. This pit entry, and these drivers are going to have to come down and make at least one pit stop. This pit entry is not made for green flag stops. This is going to be truly, truly exciting as they almost have to come to a dead stop to get themselves down pit road.
Yeah, I was watching it during practice, and guys were really struggling to get on pit road. You kind of have to make your pit entry start on the entry to turn 3 there, and then the pit wall kind of gives way about 3/4 of the way between 3 and 4, and it's just all of a sudden there. So everyone's going to have to be really on their toes, making sure that they don't spin themselves out or hit the tire barrier at the end of pit wall, because this is a very tricky pit road to get onto.
Yes, it is. So it is about that time. We got about 30 seconds left in qualifying. So, Russ, as we do every single night that we call these races, it is time to make our picks. Now, I'm going to go first because I don't want you to steal my pick, but I am not going to go out here on a limb. I'm going to go out here with somebody that I know can will this Xfinity car around. He does not He is not afraid to get that thing sideways, and that's the 19 car, Cody Bonelli. I believe we've got a win coming for this driver sometime extremely soon, and I do believe that he is going to take the win here at Nashville Fairgrounds tonight.
That's probably a solid pick. We've seen him have a lot of speed, be up front, like you said. He's not afraid to to get these Xfinity cars sideways, as we've seen time and time again. But just like last night, we were at a short track last night with the Truck Series. We're at a short track here again tonight. He almost got me the dub last night. I'm going back to back. I'm taking Andrew Tefts in that 98. Take the win tonight.
Well, you can never go wrong with that. Now, let's go over your qualifying results as Truth Hoke is going to take your pole position. Truth with a fantastic run and win last night, 19.956. Andrew is going to be starting second. Sean Dunaway is in third. Curtis is going to be fourth. Cody is in fifth. Aaron Roth, sixth. Aaron Marquis is seventh. Kirby Wainscott is eighth. And then it looks like Troy might take the field tonight. I don't see him out there, but hopefully he will take that field, and if not, you're going to have 8 drivers strong here that's going to have to go quite a few laps around this track under green conditions. And man, I will tell you, they get one fast repair and they might have to use it tonight.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of guys struggling during practice. We talked about it earlier, this hot track temperature with these eight corners on exit, seeing guys spinning themselves out, getting down into that inside wall. 140 laps here, so there's plenty of time to make something happen. It's just being cautious and safe at the beginning and get yourself to the end to see those checkered flags.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that we are going to have the battle box for you down here at the bottom right-hand corner as we do each and every week, so that you can see where your favorite driver is and the distance between them and the driver closest in front and behind them. That'll be down there at your bottom right-hand corner. We are going to stick with this ticker up top here so that you can see this entire track here at Nashville Fairgrounds. Very short track, half a mile, shaped just like a paper clip. So you're going to want to catch everything that you can here. And we are going to have some pretty good camera angles as we go through this thing. We can go TV static. We've got drone cams that are going to go all the way around these drivers. Russ, I got to tell you, it looks like Andrew dipped out for just a second. It's probably going to come right back onto the track. So we've got some pretty good angles for everybody to see what is going to happen here at Nashville Fairgrounds with these Xfinity cars.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. 140 laps of hot, slick racing action.
So as they get out here on the track, this is going to be a very, very quick pace lap. As you can see, the lights are off. I don't believe Andrew was able to get back out on the track. Not sure if he might have had a computer issue or something that's going on. That's going to put Curtis Ecker on the outside here of Truth Hoke as these drivers are going to line back up. Troy Thomas was able to make this field, just did not get a qualifying in. So here we go. I don't believe we even have a starter cam, but it looks like might take just one more lap around. It does look like we're going to do that to hopefully see if Andrew can get that car back out on the track.
Maybe he heard that I was picking him 2 nights in a row, and he says, I don't need that kind of pressure. I'm out of here.
Yeah, Russ and the broadcaster's curse might have struck again, as it does look like I do not see him log back in. He might be back in now. Back into the service, so hopefully we can get him out on the track and racing. That is going to be detrimental to his chances here, as he is second in the points right now. And it does look like the pace car is off. Truth Hoke is going to bring them around to the green flag, and here we go. Curtis Ecker with a fantastic jump here on the outside. This 8 car quickly jumping to the high line here at Nashville Fairgrounds, trying to find a way around Truth Hoke. He wants to lead some laps and lead them early.
Yeah, Truth, had that strong run there last night. Looking to continue that again tonight. Looks like Andrew was able to get back out on the track though before the start of this race. So.
Great news for that 98 car. We will keep an eye on him, as it does look like he might have actually been down. We'll keep an eye and see where he's at. He is right now back here. Troy Thomas sitting behind him, as Andrew was already able to start making his way forward. Now that next person on the chopping block is going to be the 10 of Kirby Wainscott. But we're going to go right back up here, as now it looks like Sean Dunaway starting to put some pressure here on Curtis Ecker for that second position. You can see these cars just bouncing around, and Cody Bonelli going to get loose on the exit of that turn. That 19 machine just holding on to it here.
It's going to be a commonplace here tonight. You're going to see a lot of those cars getting sideways like that all night long.
I believe you're right, as now it does look like Truth Hoke was able to go purple, setting a 19.95 lap that last lap. So he is trying to get out here and run away with this, as he now has a 1.2 second lead over Curtis Ecker. Now under fire from Sean Dunaway in this 01 car. Sean going to make that pass, keep this car down to the bottom, wrapping that yellow line, put this 01 up into second position.
Yeah, Sean making some early moves here. Just like Truth's got that, he got that monkey off his back there last night. He's coming into this race with a lot of confidence. Taking that lead out now to about a second and a half.
Yeah, he is. He is fired up right now. The 57 getting a little loose on the exit. He was tapping the wall. 19 of Cody Benelli is going to be underneath of him, trying to get his way around. He's going to be able to get that pass done. And we're going to come right back here as now Andrew Teft again continuing to work his way forward. Now the 41 machine, he is setting his sights on him, starting to close in, working that low line here, Russ, probably conserving a little bit of tire. A lot of these drivers deciding to go mid lane, and it's getting them super tight on X, as you can see the 41 touching the wall.
Yeah, and I just saw Andrew there when he was running that bottom lane. You see him coming out of the corner, and you can just see the nose of that car just bouncing around, how rough this track is down there on the bottom side.
Yeah, all of these drivers here, third, fourth, and fifth, choosing to stay about a lane and a half off of that yellow line there on the bottom. So, again, they are trying to avoid all of those bumps. It's still a little bumpy right there at that line. As you can see, Cody coming out of that turn, just like we talked about a little bit earlier in the pre-race. This driver not afraid to kick that car out and drive this thing on that right rear, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, we've seen it many times all season long, even at the road courses. You come out of a corner and that rear end would step out, and he'd just hang on to it like he was dirt tracking.
You can hear the tires screaming on these cars now. Curtis Ecker starting to get some pressure from Cody. Looks like Cody's found that low line. He's able to get off of these turns extremely well. Curtis, I think, is being a little judicious with his tires, which that is not a bad thing, as we are now just 11 laps into a 140-lap race, trying to save those just a little bit. Cody starting to search for a line around.
Yeah, he's working his way up there towards the front, trying to find something, but that 8 car holding on strong, running that a lane and a half, 2 lanes up off the bottom. Getting some pretty good momentum off the corners.
Yes, he is. As you can see, these drivers going down that front stretch, starting to enter the first and second turn, now heading down the back stretch as we are sitting in the infield on this drone cam, watching these drivers go around this track. And I got to tell you, Russ, this is just one of those tracks that it has such a great feel. And if you can figure out a way around this track, man, you could turn some quick lap times like this gentleman right here in this 55 Wrangler Xfinity car. He is on a tear lately and up now 3.3 seconds over your next driver in the field, and that is Sean Dunaway. So he has started to set sail, and he is on a mission tonight.
Yeah, he got that win last night, like I said, and he wants to go back to back here this week at the in Racers Elite.
Yeah, you can hear that car super, super loose, and what you don't want to do is you don't want to slide all 4 of those tires up. It does sound like Truth just having a little bit of entry looseness where he's sliding that car up to the top. That is certainly going to wear those tires out, and it's going to be very interesting. Truth able to really come out of the gate strong in every one of these races. Now the question is going to be, can he keep that momentum up, and can he keep turning these lap times? Last lap, a 20.55 for Truth, a 20.72 for Sean Dunaway. So as we look at this now, he is still up about a 0.2 of a second faster than your second place driver.
Yeah, the question begs is how long is he going to be able to keep that momentum up? The how do you drive, the how do you burn these tires up, especially at a track like this, short track, rough surface. It's going to be about managing your tires too. So hopefully he gets out to that, now that he's got out to that lead, he can start kind of trying to manage those tires a little bit and make sure he's got something for the end of the run.
Cody Benelli being stuck behind this 8 machine of Curtis Ecker has now allowed Andrew Teft to start closing in. As we saw earlier, Andrew having a bit of a glitching issue, having to come back in, start at the back of the field, now working his way forward, turning some quicker laps. He is going to start working this high side, trying to get a good run off of these turns. It does look like, Cody is going to get in the wall pretty major. That's going to open this lane up for Andrew Teft. I think he's going to get this pass done pretty easily. One small mistake by Cody, and now loose off of the exit of 4. He's got to get himself back in rhythm here, Russ.
Yeah, one little mistake like that can definitely get you out of your rhythm, and then you find yourself lap after lap, corner after corner, sliding, getting up in the wall, getting something. You just got to settle back into that seat, get his rhythm back, and get this car back moving forward.
Yeah, we're going to pop this back up. We just want to look. Your drivers that are not in the chase right now are Curtis Ecker and Troy Thomas. We'll keep that. Everybody else that's on the track is a chase driver. That includes Truth Hope, Sean Dunaway, who are first and second on this field. Now, Sean able to close in, Russ, about half a second. Now that lead down to 3 seconds, as it looks like those lap times have now started to level off. And now we are seeing these drivers as Andrew Tex is going to go underneath of Curtis Ecker looking for third.
Hey, he's working his way up to the front. They kind of gave him that moniker of the short track dominator. We've seen him have a lot of success in short tracks here in Racing Elite this season. That's why he was my pick last night. That's why he's my pick again tonight. Came up one spot short last night. He's looking to get that back tonight.
Yes, he is. Cody Benelli still searching for that rhythm, still getting loose on the exit of these turns, having to slide that around. Those rear tires are going to start screaming at him a little more and a little more every single lap. And there he goes again. He is really starting to struggle with the back end of that car. As now he's going to get into the wall. That's going to cause the 57 to tag that left rear. You can see the left rear now wrinkled up on the 19. And this is what happens here at these short tracks, especially at the fairgrounds. Man, when you get out of rhythm, it just gets worse and worse and worse for you. The 57 finding a good high line. Now it's going to slow down. Looks like he's just going to give Cody that position back, thinking that maybe that was his fault there.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. He's trying to be a respectable driver. Still plenty of laps left. We're only 25 laps in. Still plenty of time left. But yeah, the more he keeps getting, or Cody keeps getting loose like that, it's just going to keep burning those rears up. He's just going to get looser and looser and looser, and eventually that thing's just going to snap around on him, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I want to show this 57's paint scheme real quick. As you can see, he has that Nashville theme on Music City Nights on the quarter panel, Nashville, Tennessee on the hood. So he is representing here in Nashville, and we certainly appreciate that from him. But we're going to go back up here up front because I'm telling you right now, in that rear view mirror, Truth Hoke is starting to see Sean Dunaway in this 01 car. That lead now down to 1.9 seconds. You can see there on the bottom right-hand corner is your ticker. Sean Dunaway starting to come in now underneath of a second. Truth run a 21.0 that last lap. Sean Dunaway at a 20.8. So this is flipped. Sean now a couple of tenths a lap faster than your leader.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Truth maybe didn't burn his stuff up a little bit early, or maybe he's going into tire saving mode right now. Sean's definitely getting down on Truth right now.
I want to go on board here with Sean Dunaway. I want to show you how little that these drivers are on the throttle right now. As we're just going to be quiet here, Russ. We're going to take it around for a couple laps. We're going to ride on board with Sean Dunaway in this 01. Just listen to the tires screaming on that car and how little he is on throttle here through these turns. I'll tell you this, Russ, that is about as slick and frustrating a drive as I've seen these drivers have to have so far this year. As you almost saw Sean loop that car around on entry as he almost slid all the way around that turn. Now, if you think he's having a heck of a time, then this gentleman right here that is losing time to him has got to be having a heck of a time trying to get around here as well. So let's listen in at Truth and see how he's handling this. Looks like he's taking a much calmer approach here. Now stretching that lead back out as Sean put up quite a battle. Now down 1.6 seconds. So he got that underneath of a second, and Truth has started to stretch it back out. So just like you said, Russ, maybe just managing those tires midway through this run.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea for him to do. You know, he had a really good, nice sized lead there to begin with. Gives him that ability to back it down, save the tire a little bit. And then once he started feeling that pressure from Sean, maybe, it looks like he started picking it back up again. So,
Yeah, I will tell you, one of the drivers that I've watched, I've ran around him quite a bit, is this driver here in this three of Troy Thomas. You know, he has got speed. He has speed everywhere we go. You know, he's always been a nice, calm driver, good driver to run around, always sticks his line. Really important. But you would think, I believe that Troy has some wins in this driver as well, throughout these seasons, and we're going to start to see him get faster and faster as he just really races inside of himself, and he's never ever in a hurry.
yeah, and he's got a really slick looking paint job on that car this week. I
Yes, he
really like
does.
that Goodrich #3.
Well, he is now starting to close in on the back end of Aaron Roth in that 57 Nashville sponsor car, as this is going to be your tightest race here on the track. However, as we see now, Troy starting to poke the head of that Camaro underneath of Aaron Roth. Aaron's starting to drive it a little bit harder. As you can see, he get loose off of that turn. But I'm going to go back up here because this driver, Sean Dunaway, his hands are full in that car, and he is now getting a rear view mirror full of the guy that had to come from the very back here. Andrew Teft in this 98 machine has worked his way all the way back through the field, and he is turning the fastest laps on this track right now. Now Sean Dunaway under fire. I believe he is going to make quick work here of Sean.
Yeah, he had that rough start, but worked his way up here. Now making the pass for second. I was going to start trying to run down his old friend Truth there.
Yeah, and it does look like Truth is starting to struggle, as you can see him just in front of Andrew Teft now, about 1.3 seconds. We're going to keep our eye on that as these drivers. It does look like that the three car able to get around the 57. Now he's all over Cody Benelli as Cody's struggles continue. He can't get off of that outside retaining wall, so he is going to put Troy Thomas past Cody Benelli. Cody still sideways on the exit of these turns.
And just struggling lap after lap after lap. Now we see the 98 getting inside of the 55 for the lead.
Your battle for the lead, this driver just really being patient on those tires. You can see sticking down to the bottom. It looks like Truth starting to struggle, trying to find a diamond line, trying to go middle, do everything he can do. Sean Dunaway sideways behind him in third. But Andrew Teft just really being patient, sticking that bottom, never getting off of it. Throttle executions. Now Truth is going to rub the wall coming down the backstretch. So put this 98 driver up into first, and I have to believe at this point, 41 laps in, he is going to be able to set sail from these other two drivers.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, especially when we know Andrew, we know how he drives. He's very methodical in his line, very good at tire saving. Be interesting to see how long he can go before he starts to fall off. And when are we going to start seeing pit stops? And the 41 getting loose there going into the turn.
Yeah, these drivers are really having their hands full, and it looks like Cody is no different than the rest of them. He cannot even get on the throttle around the turns of this racetrack here. Every time he hits the throttle, you see that car just try to cut right toward the wall. And man, he is just, this is no fun for a driver, as now he's going to give up two positions, one to Aaron and then to Aaron Marquis in that Duncan machine. So Cody continuing to struggle, starting to fall back now. He put him in the 8th position. So just Kirby Wainscott behind him. As we go back up, and right behind these drivers, just a straightaway behind, is your leader right now. And Andrew Tefts has already started to pull out to a 2.6 second lead over your second place driver there, Truth Hoke.
I don't think it'll be long before he hits the back of this field and starts putting some guys lap down. I mean, right now, the 19 has got to be either begging for a caution or begging for green flag pit stops to hit. He really wants some tires and got to get some of that damage repaired a little bit. You know, he's been in the walkway a bit. I'm sure he's having a little bit of handling issues from that damage. But right now, he's begging for a yellow or for these pit stop cycles to come in.
I would think if you're going to do that, you know, if you get past and you lose a lap, that's the time to come in down pit road and get some fresh tires, learn from some of your mistakes at the first of that run, and get out here and do it again. It's now Aaron Marquis starting to track down Aaron Roth. Cody Bonelli still behind them in the wall again, and this poor machine has taken a beating so far tonight. Oh, and it looks like right there where that flag stand is, he keeps rubbing that wall and hopping the right front tire off of the ground right at that flag stand. It's got that little hitch where the old school, you just open that wall up and the flagger walks through there to get up on top of the stand. It looks like he just keeps bumping into that. Now that lead, that gap to the lead, now up to a pretty big 4.8 seconds in just a few laps here. So Andrew's turning 2.1, 2.2, or 21.2 seconds, and it looks like Truth now at 22 seconds a lap. So Truth has really fallen off and lost the grip and the feeling of this car.
Yeah, he got out to that big lead to start with. He probably just overcooked his tires, and he's kind of paying for it now. That 98's just kind of setting sail at this point.
And would you say, Russ, that's that next evolution for this driver here is really learning speed and managing a gap. You know, if you have a 3, and here he goes, it looks like he's going to try to shoot down to the bottom to find a different line. I thought maybe he was going to slow down and try to go into the pits, but that's the next evolution for Truth is really getting himself where he can manage a gap behind him, and he can really sense if that driver behind him is pushing harder than he wants to go, and making sure that he is fast over the long runs.
Yeah, drivers develop, differently than others, and we've seen Truth be fast. We've seen him be fast and burning stuff up. It's probably, you're probably right. It's probably that aspect of learning to be fast and manage your gap and manage your tires. Maybe his next step. I mean, I don't know why I'm talking. I can't do any of that. That's why I'm not out here running with these guys today. That's why I'm up in the booth. So these guys much braver than I.
Yeah, and I think, really the best way to do that is just to start, turning some stints in practice and really try to calculate your long run pace and get better and better and better at that long run pace while you still maintain a good position on the field. Because we know he's got the speed. And we know he can win races. He has done that already this year, so it's going to be really exciting to see him continue to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen it time and time again throughout the season. He's been up there, battling for podiums and getting the podiums, and he picked up that win last night. Definitely developing as the season is going on, and be interesting to see, especially next season, how he's able to come out and run with these guys next year.
Andrew Teff putting that 57 car now a lap down. So Aaron Roth now a lap down. We've got, it looks like Aaron Marquis a lap down. Cody Bonelli now is going to go a lap down. So right now, as it stands, there are 5 drivers that are on the lead lap, and that is going to be Andrew Truth, Curtis Ecker, Sean Dunaway, and then Troy Thomas. But I do want to go back to Curtis because had a great start, had a good qualifying run. That car right there is squeaky clean as I hear him just barely touch that wall. But he put together a good run, and this driver has worked his way back into the 3rd position. Now Sean Dunaway is going to drop himself back to 4th. And here he goes. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Troy Thomas starting to work his way forward, really finding a great line. Again, he's doing exactly what Andrew did, which is just stick that yellow line and just be patient back on throttle. And he has started to move this 3 machine forward.
Yeah, he's chasing down that old one of Sean Dunaway. You see Sean getting a little loose right there coming out of 4, but just being smooth and methodical, just like that 98. And Troy's slowly working his way up towards the front too.
Oh, Cody Bonelli completely sideways as we get back and we go right to this driver. My goodness, I haven't seen somebody crossed up like that in an Xfinity car and able to save it in a long time, but there it is. You saw it first. You saw it live here on Racers Elite Network. That 19 machine completely sideways coming out of 4, and those tires are screaming at Cody right now.
I was going to say, if he didn't need tires before, he definitely needs them now. That was a long slide that those rear tires they are hot as can be right now.
If I am Cody, I am definitely thinking about that as I've got to get myself in. Now, Truth Oak is going to make that pass, but don't look now. Curtis Ecker right behind Truth. He is running some fantastic lap times, and he is now going to put himself in a battle for second position as Sean Dunaway is going to give up that position to Troy Thomas. So Troy still on that march forward. You can see that entry a little bit shallower than most of these other drivers. And what that gives you, Russ, is that puts that Xfinity car right on that right front instead of on that right rear. And so it actually helps him with a little bit of a tight condition. And with these tracks slick over like this one is, that's the exact way that you want to hit these turns.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, kind of running a semi-diamond pattern, going in low, kind of washing up about a lane, and then being able to get back out on the low side on corner exit. Definitely puts the weight of that car on the right front and kind of keeps it just a little bit more stable, not quite as loose as it would be if you were, putting it on the right rear.
Curtis down at the bottom. Oh, and he is going to drive right in front of Truth. Fantastic job. I thought he was going to get a little tight and get into the wall, but that pass is now being made for second position. So Truth continuing to fall back as Curtis starts moving forward. But that 3 car is on the same straightaway as these two drivers. So Troy Thomas is not going to be long before he's knocking on the back door here of Truth.
Yeah, Troy just keeps on pushing, but yeah, such a great run tonight so far from that number 8 of Curtis Ecker. Working his way forward, staying cool, calm, and collected, saving just a little bit of tire, managing that tire wear, working his way up now to P2.
He has had some fantastic runs so far this year, and this is not the first time we see him in podium contention, as it looks like now Andrew is continuing to drive away from these drivers here, your second and third place cars, as he is now out to a 13-second lead over Curtis Ecker. I'm going to be very interested to see these lap times as we go through now with Curtis in clean air, and see if he can start to run down Andrew. But I think at this point, Andrew's on another planet.
Yeah, he's definitely kind of checked out, and we're at lap 67 of 140. We're pushing halfway, so we see the 01 Sean Dunaway on pit road right now. I was just going to say, I wouldn't be surprised that once we hit that lap 70, we start seeing these guys come down, get those fresh Goodyear tires, fill that thing full of fuel, and then run it to the win.
Yeah, he was begging for some fresh rubber, and he is definitely going to get it now if he could just manage that a little bit better for himself. And you can see now the 41 of Aaron Marquis doing the same thing that Cody Bonelli was doing a little bit earlier, getting into that little flag stand area and hopping that car up on the right front. Is going to slow Truth down as Truth has to make maneuvers to get around him. Now Curtis starting to put the 57 car lap down, get himself back into clean air, and see if he can start chipping away at this massive lead here that Andrew Teft has.
Yeah, that little flag stand spot right there, it kind of actually reminds me of, this may show my age just a little bit, but it takes me all the way back to the old rat bag dirt track racing game for the PC. Back in the early 2000s, you run there at Williams Grove. They have that gate on the back straightaway where all of the haulers come down to the infield of the track, and down there was a little bit of a glitch where if you were just a little bit too close to that gate, man, your car would just get demolished. And that's what that flag stand gap there is kind of reminding me of.
Yeah, and I will tell you, it does look like Andrew is going to split this thing in half. He is going to go ahead and come down. My goodness, I think he was still a couple of tenths a lap faster than every other driver out there on the field. I believe I probably would have stuck that out as long as I could with a 14-second lead. But he is the man that is leading. He knows much more than I do about it. As it looks like now, Truth is going to start to come under fire. Curtis Ecker now going into the pits to get his service done. This is going to leave the lead back over to Truth. Now the 3 machine right behind him as Troy has really started to turn it on a little bit later on in this run. And he is going to now be on the back end of Truth. Truth deciding to go down and pit. I could imagine that the 3 machine of Troy is going to come in next lap. He has to, right? He doesn't want to lose any more time to these leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. Got Truth coming down pit road. He wanted to get his lap led to help him with some bonus points, and I'm sure we'll see him up down right about now.
And there he goes, slowing that machine down, trying to get over to that pit road entry. And that is such a difficult spot to get themselves down the pit road and back out. But I will tell you, it does look like everyone was able to do that nice and smooth. Andrew Teft in and off of pit road. His pit time about 15.18 seconds. Now, Sean had a little bit quicker time at a 14.3 and 14.22 for Curtis Ecker. A little bit quicker in and out of the box. But I just don't think that's going to matter. I mean, that lead by Andrew is so large. Unless Andrew really gets himself slowed down, as now you can see he's going around Truth to put Truth a lap down, Truth down to 6th. So we might have to find out what happened there as he turned a 42-second lap and 16 seconds on pit road. As he is coming back down, he
he had a penalty.
He had to have had a penalty, and the hits just keep on coming for Truth. Man, what a tough deal, but it does look like he is going to have to serve a penalty. I'm assuming that's going to be a drive-through. That would be too fast entering, or the too fast entering would be a 40-second hold. Drive-through would be too quick on exit of these pit road.
Yeah, unfortunate break there for the 55. Looking to go back-to-back here tonight. Yeah, you just, like we said, this pit road entry is very, very tricky. And, once you get down to that banking, you've got to be at your pit speed basically, because that turn in is so quick, so sharp that if you're not going to be able to slow down in time.
Yeah, we're going to watch these lap times as they go around this track. Sean Dunaway did come in several laps earlier than all of these other drivers that are around him. He is now currently in the second position, a little bit quicker than what Andrew Teft was last lap. And we know that Andrew will just wait for those tires to come in, as they don't want to come in and pit anymore. They want this thing to run out. That lead now down to 11.7 seconds. Curtis Ecker with a pretty quick lap time of 20.86. Troy Thomas coming out, turning a 20.32 that last lap. So this 3 machine, man, is just super impressive tonight.
Yeah, he's got something there figured out. I mean, we've seen him be really consistent, throughout the season. But yeah, it seems like tonight he's definitely got some more speed than what we usually see him have, which is great to see.
And Roth now really close to Truth Hoke. This 57 car trying to get on the back end of Truth. It does look like Truth able to skirt away just a little bit from Aaron after that pit road penalty. Just a tough deal for the 55 machine. Such a hard pit road to go into. It's not surprising that we've seen one driver. I think the most surprising thing here is it's just been one driver with that pit road entry penalty.
Yeah, the penalties really wasn't even really on my radar. It was that tire barrier right there at the end of pit road. I've seen a lot of guys in practice struggle being able to get their cars down below that. And I watched a few of them hit that tire barrier going in. So that was what my main concern was. And I didn't even have the penalties on my radar. But very good for the most part. Very, very good, very clean first pit stop there.
Yeah, we're going to continue to watch this 3 machine as he is not too far away. Right there is Troy Thomas. Right there is Andrew Teft. So Troy coming out of 4, Andrew going into 3. So Troy is going to do whatever he can to keep himself on the lead lap. Truth Hoke getting by him now. As Truth, you still see the 19 car, even after that fast repair, just kicking that car sideways, just having his hands full tonight. But Truth is going to drive that car pretty hard, try to get that lap, at least one lap back, and try to potentially get a wave around if there is a caution. So he's got a lot to fight for, but man, this 3 machine needs to stay in front of Andrew Teft.
Yeah, I mean, he sees that 98 coming, and he's going to have to get going, because once those tires definitely come in and Andrew decides to turn it up, he's going to be there in quick, fast, and in a hurry. So he just needs to make sure he can stay in front, just in case we do see that flag of a certain color, he's able to keep himself on the lead lap.
Yeah, I will tell you that Truth, one of the bright spots to this and having that pit road penalty is Truth. There's not a lot of cars out here on the track. I believe there was 8 or 9 that took the green flag. So Truth is going to be able to still get a solid finish, as you saw him now go by Cody Bonelli there for the 6th position. So, he's still in a good spot to have a good solid finish, maybe even tracking down Kirby Wainscott in 5th. He's only about 9 seconds behind him. So there's still a lot to fight here for this driver, as we're going to come back up here and look at this 2nd place of Sean Dunaway. Sean still turning some pretty quick lap times. That last lap, a 20.69 to Andrew's 21.0. So that gap starting to shrink a little bit, now down to 9 seconds, which was about 14 or 15 seconds before these pit stops started.
Yeah, we saw the 01 making a late charge there at the end of that last run, before he burned his stuff up. So it's not surprising to see him have a little bit of extra speed here now that he's got those new tires on. But man, good run there so far for the 01 car.
Yeah, the 8 machine here of Curtis Ecker also having a fantastic run so far tonight. He is, again, they're in that 3rd position and solidly in 3rd, as I believe that next closest is going to be Troy Thomas, 4 seconds back. All of these drivers really, the 8 and the 3 are going to be fighting to stay in front of Andrew. As we're going to go back here now, take a look at Troy. Troy starting to put a little bit of space between him and Andrew, and I do believe Kirby Wainscott was able to get his lap, at least one of his laps back, so he is sitting in 5th. Now, we haven't talked about this 10 machine very much tonight, but man, kudos to him for sitting here in 5th, 1 lap down. Really good run by him, so Kirby doing what he needs to do to get himself a top 5 finish tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, sometimes, that's the devil's advocate. The later end of a season, you kind of start losing drivers, and you start having smaller fields, and for the drivers that are in the points battle in the championship, it kind of benefits them in a little bit of a way, because it allows them to have that bad night, or have something go wrong, say like in Truth's instance. And either way, he's still going to end up having a good points tonight and able to put points on the board towards this championship at the end of the season in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and as we've seen both of these series, the Truck and the Xfinity series, start to wind down and get into the middle of these playoffs, we've really saw, these drivers come to fight. Alex Teft and Andrew Teft both with some fantastic battles, as you saw them really get up on the wheel, start to drive these things, and Andrew looks like he is on his way to another fantastic win. Truth Hope coming out, putting some great runs together. I will tell you, this 8 machine might be one of the more impressive guys that I've seen really start to pick it up here later on in the season. Already podium before, he is in a podium position now, so he is finding some speed in this car as the season has went along.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. The progression that you see in drivers throughout a season. That the number 8 is one of the ones that I think definitely we've seen since we've started broadcasting the Racing the Elite anyway. That I would say is probably one of the most improved drivers over this season so far. We did him earlier in the season. He was kind of running towards the back of the field. Have seen him having some problems, but as you said, that latter stages of the season, we've really seen him kind of turn it up and have himself some really good races and got himself some really good finishes here towards the end of the season.
Yeah, he's been doing a fantastic job. As now, while you were talking there, Truth was able to get around Kirby, so put Truth up to 5th. And just like we talked about before, even though he had to do that drive-through penalty, I do think he's been able to march his way back up. That might stop now, because that 4th place driver is 2.5 seconds behind him. So he has to make an entire lap up to get back to the back bumper of the 4. You never know, but with 100 laps here and 140, this thing is going to go by, and those 40 laps are going to click away in a hurry for this 55 car.
Yeah, we're 100 laps in. We've got 40 laps to go, and we've only been at this for about 36 minutes now. So these laps clicking off in a hurry. These last 40 will go by in no time. So yeah, Truth's gonna probably struggle to pick up that other position unless something crazy happens in these last 40 laps.
as we see Andrew start to pace around, now starting to pull back away from Sean. Sean now 13 and a half seconds. And as we look, it looks like Andrew's still running sub 21s at a 20.75. Your fastest car on the track that last lap. The second fastest is going to be that Troy Thomas there in the 3 at a 20.9. So he's putting some great runs together. So it does look like we are going to have a battle before too long for your third position. As I can see, Troy, now you can see him in that shot, starting to track down Curtis Ecker, who in turn is starting to track down Sean Dunaway in that 01.
Yeah, and at the same time, we're seeing two different sides of that 03. He's looking to track down that third spot, but he's also keeping that 98 in his mirror because he knows he's coming to put him a lap down. So just yeah, great run so far for that 4, and see if he can get up here and make a battle for a podium position at the end.
Yeah, now the gap 2 seconds, but the gap behind him to that leader is 1.5, 1.6. So he can see Curtis, but man, he needs to get around him and get around him in a hurry if he wants to stay on that lead lap. As we look forward for the rest of this season, Russ, we've got 2 tracks, Daytona. When you go into Daytona, anything can happen. So when we see Andrew really come out, dominate this track, I think this really puts him in the catbird seat. Honeycutt's going to be strong next week when he comes back. He's going to be right there in the mix, but I do believe him having to take this week off really puts him out of playoff and championship contention, but still a lot of time for Brandon to be able to come back and get a good finish.
Oh, absolutely. Like we said earlier, it's tough, especially just a 4-race chase format. It's really tough to have to miss one of those races because it's not necessarily a win and you're in type of playoff. It's a win and you're in regular season. Once you get to the playoffs, it's 4 straight races of points, I believe. So missing a race, it definitely puts you at a disadvantage, and kind of does take you out of contention.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a couple of other drivers that have missed tonight, and they are going to be in that same boat. So these drivers that you see here outside of Curtis Ecker and Troy Thomas are all going to be able to benefit from being here and making this race tonight. As you know, we're going to have a nice packed field for that plate track next week. And then we're going to wind up at Kansas. These Xfinity cars are going to be a lot of fun. As you know, that high line and low line there at Kansas are really going to come in all the way throughout the night. And man, I've got to think that the normal suspects, these guys that really enjoy these 1.5-mile tracks, you're going to see them back up front battling for a win there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely multiple grooves that you can run there at Kansas, and it's like you said, Daytona next week with that plate track. It's anybody's ball game. Guys that you may not necessarily see up battling for wins, they could be up there fighting for the win on the end of it. But Kansas for the championship race, definitely going to see those usual suspects. The Brandon Honeycutt and Andrew Teff. You're going to see them guys being really, really strong. Even Truth Hope. I'm sure we'll see him up there fighting for a win too.
41 machine of Aaron Marquis starting to reel in Aaron Roth here. This is going to be a battle for that 7th position. Aaron Roth has it. Aaron Marquis wants it. You can see Aaron Marquis in the 41 extremely loose there on entry. He's going to touch the wall on exit just a little bit, but he is running down the 57. I believe he is going to make quick work of this driver. Oh, he's going to get a little loose on exit. That's going to slow that momentum down. This driver, that 41, has done a great job, as well as the 57. I will tell you, just from what we've seen in practice, these drivers able to take this thing flag to flag so far has been extremely impressive. 113 laps of the 140. And I will tell you, one of the great things that you see here at Racers Elite is the ability for everybody to run respectful. They do it every single week. They run around each other every week. And you couldn't ask for a better group of guys to race around, because if you're faster, they're going to give you a little bit of room, let you make that pass. But, man, when it's time to battle, you can see these drivers really get up on the wheel and start battling.
Yeah, we've seen the last couple of races, since these playoffs have started, it's kind of been, the normal calm, cool, for most of the race. And then you get inside, 20 laps to go, and then that's when you really see the fireworks start popping off. When we've seen some phenomenal endings to these races the last couple of weeks since the playoffs started, it's been great to watch.
All right, so here you go, a battle not only for the third position, that is your fourth place driver of Troy Thomas trying to keep your leader, Andrew Teff, behind him. 25 laps to go. Andrew has nothing to gain, so I guarantee he's going to take his time. There is a battle in front of him, and that is going to be for a podium spot. Sean Dunaway pulled away from this driver, Curtis Ecker, in that 8 by about 4 seconds. Troy, we have not talked to this year, is on the drive of his season so far in this Xfinity series. He has really come to Nashville geared up to race this track and done a fantastic job. He is now going to start narrowing in on the 8, and this is going to be for your interview for a podium spot. Both of these drivers are going to be hungry. They're both going to want it, and Andrew's going to be able to sit back and watch it happen.
Yeah, that three car's probably been the one car all night long that we haven't really seen have too much of an issue. We've seen these guys getting loose, we've seen them getting tight, getting up into the wall, and really the 3 car has been pretty solid and stout all night long. Really haven't seen him have too many problems at all. Nice clean car still here with 22 laps to go. Having a great run in that 3.
The battle is on. It does look like Curtis Ecker finding a nice little middle of the road line. Troy really dedicated to diamonding this turn and getting a nice drive off. Why you see Troy really not with any scrubs on the right-hand side of that car. He is dedicated to being able to get a low exit in these turns, not to get loose. As you can see, those cars just bouncing around like crazy. Again, Andrew's behind him, really not pushing the issue. Troy's so easy on the tires. I do believe he's going to let Andrew get by him here. No, he's just going to take a little bit more shallow line. Like we talked about before, that straightens that entry out and really gets that right front pushy, and it helps him in that loose condition. As now they're going to have to battle with a couple of lap cars before this race is over.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this shapes up for these lap cars. I'm sure they're going to be respectful. They're going to stay up out of the way. Let this battle go on as it shall, and we'll see how it plays out. But you see Andrew now looking to the outside, trying to put that 3 car lap down.
Yeah, he hasn't really found a great way to get around him. Again, there's really not a whole lot of hurry. Heck, your third and fourth place driver right here. I think Troy's going to go high, let Andrew get underneath and make that pass so that he can move on and battle with these other drivers. But I will tell you, these two, Curtis and Troy, are about 3.5 seconds behind Sean Dunaway. So they've started to pick Sean up as well. With 17 laps to go, that is plenty of time, as when these tires get worn down, these Xfinity cars, it could be a couple of tenths a lap.
Yeah, they get themselves cleared out here, and yeah, they could be definitely running Sean down and fighting for P2 here before the end of this. Laps to go, still plenty of time, but they're going to go, and they're going to go quick though.
You never know what's going to happen. I mean, these drivers, Curtis Ecker, Troy Thomas, they still have something to fight for, because if there is a caution, and you just never know when a caution is going to come out, you still want a fighting chance. As Curtis is going to get a little loose on exit, that's going to get Andrew a little loose on the exit of that turn as well. Andrew backing off again. It is just the right time to be careful if you're Andrew. You have a 0 to gain here. Right there's the second place driver up ahead of you. There is nothing that he needs to gain here by making this pass. I'm sure Troy would like for him to hold him up just a little bit, but it does look like Troy started to fall back from this duo of cars. So that battle for third has cooled now with about 14 laps to go.
Yeah, not sure if maybe the tires are starting to fall off of that 3 car just a little bit, but you can see him, the 8 able to open up just a little bit of a gap, as you see the 98. Now looking to the bottom of Curtis Ecker, trying to put him a lap down. And that's going to be everybody except for the second place car. Andrew is going to put a lap down here.
Yeah, that's Nashville Fairgrounds. Pretty dominating performance here with Andrew in this 98 machine, now getting by Curtis Ecker. And that is going to refuel this third place battle. But I do believe Curtis, with a little bit better tire right now, than what Troy Thomas is, as Troy's starting to search around to find a little bit more pace throughout this track. Was running that really nice tight little low line, and it does look like now he is starting to search to find some more pace as Curtis just continues to pile on fast lap times and keep that 3 behind him.
Yeah, the 8, Chris is definitely looking out that windshield. He's trying to just hit his marks, keep that car off the wall, keep it, keep it straight, keep it from being loose, hoping that that 3 car does not get to him and battle him for this position.
They're getting just a little tighter as they come off of the exit of 4. Curtis really putting together a fantastic run here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. He's just got a really good line in the middle. He's not pushing this car through the center and on exit, and that's some of the things that we've seen from Curtis throughout these seasons. Is just really, when he gets a lot of pressure on him, he can make a couple little mistakes. You see him now, he hits that flag stand hole and gets up on the right-hand side, and I'm not sure, Russ, if that's a little glitch, but that's not the first time we've seen that tonight.
No, not at all. We've seen plenty of drivers get up there just close enough, but it just makes it look like it's just wiping that car out. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's a glitch or what. But it's definitely been a nuisance for some of these drivers here tonight.
Andrew Teff pouring it on 8 laps to go. That is the second place driver that is right in front of him. If he can get there, he can put this entire field a lap down here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. He has just come out. He hasn't been the fastest car on fresh tires, but that's what makes him the fastest car on old tires. And that's really put him to where he is just flicking tenths off of these other drivers. And he is not so far behind Sean Dunaway, who has been able to really run a fantastic race. That first stint, really overdriving that car and getting those tires hot. This stint, being able to hop out in front. And if you remember, Russ, he was the first one down pit road, so he's got the oldest tires in the field.
Yeah, that's for sure. He came down probably 2 or 3 laps before anybody else, so he's definitely going to have more worn tires. And yeah, 6 laps to go, and I know it's not on his mind, but lapping the entire field would be one heck of a feat to have happen here at Nashville Fairgrounds. And if Andrew could get that done, I'm sure he'd be pretty pleased with himself.
5 laps to go. I don't think he is going to push it. That win and these points leading to a championship battle is going to be what is most on his mind now, as now we are going to click away to 4 laps to go. Andrew Teft, having computer issues earlier on, almost did not get back in time to be able to take this field. Had to start from the back, methodically worked his way through this field, picked it off one driver at a time, started to catch up to those leaders. And then once he got past Truth, he just set sail, and he has not looked back. Nice, clean pit road entry for this driver. Nice, clean race overall, sticking down to that yellow line, turning those lap times that has just put the rest of the field in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, we've seen that time and time again out of Andrew, at these short tracks, whether it be in the Truck Series or the Xfinity. Very smooth, very methodical, and definitely the run of his life here tonight.
2 laps to go. This was your pick. As you can see, I don't believe he is going to get that pass done for second, but he has caught up to him. But I'm going to let you, with 1 lap to go, this is the gentleman that you wanted to pick to win this race. Russ, I'm going to let you take this last lap.
Yeah, I picked him last night, and he came off 1 position short. We know he's been that like I kind of monikered him, that short track dominator. We've seen him be very, very strong at all the short tracks that we've run here at Racers Elite. And yeah, definitely my pick again here tonight, coming out of turn 4. Andrew Teff going to pick up the win at the fairground.
And there he goes, right on the back end of Sean Dunaway. He did not get that pass done. Probably 2 more laps, and he would have been able to lap this entire field of drivers out here tonight at this hot 120-plus degree Nashville Fairgrounds Raceway. Andrew Teff, that 98, your leader, owner of this Racers Elite series, now is going to put himself in the catbird seat to win this entire championship here in the Xfinity. He is also there in the Next Gen and the truck, so don't count this gentleman out. And we now have seen him win 1 short track after another in 2 to 3 different cars. So, and as he burns it down as well, he should, Russ. Fantastic race by this driver.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to take anything away from Sean, Sean even had a had a really good race. All as we see Troy having some fun with Andrew there as he's celebrating. But Sean had a really good race today too. He kind of started in had a little bit of a loose issue at the start of this race, was able to find something, work his way up to the front, was just able to keep that car underneath him for the latter stages of this race, able to bring it home in P2. And then, Curtis Ecker, we said earlier, had some really, really good, strong runs at the latter end of the season, and definitely putting himself in position and in contention, able to bring it home with another podium here tonight, finishing P3.
Yeah, fantastic job by all of these drivers. Let's run down the 9 racers that were there on the track, and that is Andrew Teft, your winner. Sean Dunaway picking up second. Curtis Ecker in third. Great job by that driver, too, and we'll have a conversation with him in a second. Troy Thomas in fourth. Truth Hoke in fifth. Cody Bonelli in sixth. Aaron Marquis in seventh. Aaron Roth in eighth. They had some good battles all the way throughout that night, and then Kirby Wainscott is going to round out your field there in ninth position. So what else can you say? Our first time coming here to Nashville Fairgrounds, we went flag to flag tonight. What a fantastic job by all of these drivers. And we are going to put away this results page, and we are going to see if we can start to pull up some of your drivers, and let's see if we can get them back a few laps here. And we're going to slow it down so that we can see if we can get some information from them. I'm going to check, and it does look like we have everybody in the waiting room. So let's start off with your third place driver, and I'm going to pull Mr. Curtis Ecker up here in the booth. Curtis, this is John and Russ here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, it sounds like we have been talking to you quite often here. Very impressive run, really good run. And I got to tell you, Curtis, the only thing I can say is, man, it has been a joy watching your growth so far this season, not only here, but in the trucks as well. Really starting to come on later on in the season. This was a tough track. It was very slick. Man, you kept both sides of this car nice and clean, entered the pit road. You did all of the things that kind of get you snake bit in the other seasons. You did all the things right tonight.
Yeah, it was a fun race. Definitely a handful, but I always like having to fight the cars, so I like the challenge.
Well, as a non-playoff driver, you've come out here and you didn't play spoiler. You just come out here and ran your race, and man, I got to tell you, it won't be long before we see you here in the winner's circle, picking up a third position tonight. And again, just been a pleasure watching you so far this season, Curtis. So we'll turn it over to you, man. Let you give your shout outs.
Just awesome broadcast by you guys as usual. Andrew and everybody here at Racers Elite that puts everything on, and of course my family.
So as we look ahead, Curtis, with these last couple of races, we still got one other to do in round 2, and that's going to be Homestead tomorrow in the next gen. How do you feel there?
Uh, Homestead's usually not too bad. Definitely competition's always strong, so we'll see what we got.
All right. Well, we have enjoyed this. We'll be back with you on Tuesday night here in the truck race, and then we're going to get back here to Daytona in the Xfinity series. So hopefully we will be talking to you very soon.
Hopefully.
All right. Thanks, Curtis.
Yep, thank you.
All right, so there is your second place driver, and that is Curtis Ecker. Just a fantastic job, Russ, this year. Really impressive. Really like watching his growth, and it's been fantastic. Let me see if I can get a hold of Sean Dunaway, and I will let you handle that interview with this gentleman. Sean, this is John and Russ here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Hey, Sean, man, kind of a quiet, quiet race for you here tonight. You kind of started in the middle there, and then slowly and methodically worked your way up to the front, and able to bring it home P2 tonight. Why don't you take us back through your race and tell us what you thought here at this hot, slick, and tight Nashville Fairgrounds?
Yeah, so in that beginning, I was, watching Truth's line. He was like running some sort of like midline. Well, I was thinking of just running the bottom the whole race, but obviously Truth was getting away from us, and I was like, well, maybe I should try to replicate that. Tried to replicate that, killed my right rear. Probably not even from running that line, but I was definitely just like slamming the throttle out of exit. I'm pretty sure I was just spinning those tires. So yeah, I was like down to 60% that right rear. Fell back all the way to 5th on that first stint. Decided to pit a little earlier than everybody else, get some fresh tires, and then just start running the bottom and using the throttle like I should have been doing that whole time. But yeah, finally made it back up to P2 there for sure.
Yeah, I mean it was a great recovery, and not to take anything away from your run, but to add to it, you were the only other car besides the winner to finish on the lead lap. So you got that. You could take to the bank with you. Um, looking forward to these next two races. We got Daytona and we got Kansas coming up here for the last two races of the playoffs. How you feeling going into those last two races?
Yeah, obviously Daytona's kind of that you never know what you're gonna get sort of experience. But I've historically actually had some pretty good finishes during the super speedway races. As long as I mind my own business and just be there at the end, usually works out for me. And then Kansas, I really like running the high line at Kansas. That's where I feel most comfortable anyway. So yeah, looking forward to those two races.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to definitely calling them and crowning a champion here at the end of this season. But hey, great run tonight. Like I said, P2, and we'll go ahead and turn it over to you and let you give your shout outs.
Yeah, sure. I'd like to thank my wife, my mom and stepdad for always watching, and then my cats for always trying to ruin my race.
All right, Sean. Thanks for joining us, and congrats on the P2 tonight.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
There is your second place driver, Sean Dunaway, fighting the Cats and a loose track here tonight. So he had his hands full. All right. We've got one more driver to talk to, and that is going to be your winner tonight, and that is Mr. Andrew Teff. Let's see if we can get him up here in the booth. Andrew, this is John and Russ here once again in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, we talk a couple of times each week, it seems like now. So, first of all, was that a computer glitch earlier on in the race that had you hop out of the server and have to get back in?
Yeah, I was trying to stream and my computer got a little bit warm, so it went to protection mode, and I was able to kind of boot back up quickly, but start from the back.
Yeah, so started from the back, really found a line. It looked like, that bottom line was coming in later on in these runs, but it was extremely bouncy, extremely heavy. We hopped on to quite a few of these drivers and seeing there was really it was all about throttle management, especially through the center of the turns. So walk me through how you decided to attack this Nashville track and really stick down to that bottom with everybody else was running that middle to the high line.
Yeah, I think you just kind of got to go where they aren't sometimes, and kind of reminds me a lot of Iowa and around the weight bottom line there. Also, there was a bunch of grip low off the corners, kind of like at Richmond. So I was just trying to keep my lefts way down on the paint, off the corners, and get a nice straight launch. And probably had about as much full throttle time as like a Sonoma or a Richmond at times. It was there was a lot of wheel spin. You could spin the wheels all the way down the straightaway if you wanted to. At times, I think the straightaways might be harder to drive in the corner sometimes, but yeah, just tried to be real patient. I guess I would think I'd be getting past with how long I'm out of the throttle. It feels like, but that's what works. It seems like.
Yeah, it did seem that worked for you tonight because, it looked like on fresh tires, there was some guys that were able to match your pace. But as the tires started to wear in, and that was probably in that 20 to 25 lap range, you were clicking off about 2 to 3 tenths faster than any of these other drivers every single lap, and really committed to that bottom line and just eating them up. I saw a couple of cars, really getting loose on entry as they were trying to drive it so hard into the turn. They were just eating the right rear off of that car, and you just were able to set your own pace and be able to run it. Not only did you run that, but it put you all the way to the back bumper of the second place driver to be the only other race car out there on the track on the lead lap. So congratulations on your win tonight. That's really going to put you in the catbird seat going into Daytona and Kansas. How do you feel about those tracks coming up?
Yeah, Daytona and Kansas. Never really know at a plate track, but usually pretty decent there. Yeah, I really wanted to lap that Hello Kitty car after he spun me out in Victory Lane the other night. But that was my mission. I needed something to chase down, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm sorry, did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did. You answered the question. And what about Kansas? In this Xfinity car, it's a lot different than like the next gens and the trucks, which they all three really drive different. But the Xfinity is kind of a different beast all on its own. Do you have a different game plan into Kansas, or is it the same thing? Let's just run where they're not, conserve tires, conserve fuel, and see where we're at when the pace starts to settle itself out.
Yeah, Kansas, you can kind of wind up by the wall at times. Sometimes I kind of forget, thinking back, which series runs where line wise. I know it can vary by night of the week, trucks, Xfinity, or next gen, but I'm kind of in my just try to stay out of trouble and race conservative mode to try to protect the lead at this point. And kind of lucked out tonight, attendance wise. Unfortunately, some guys couldn't make it, and I figured it might go green. It just kind of played right into my hand.
Yes, it did. So as we look ahead, we talked about the Xfinity, but you are right there in the trucks and the next gen. Next gen, you're going to be back in action tomorrow night. You're going to take this thing over to Homestead. How do you feel about that track?
I usually like the top line there, and a lot of the times it feels like the bottom pays off, but I'm not as good down there. So I understand they just rescanned it, and I haven't seen what it looks like yet. Maybe there'll be some different bumps or seams or something. So it's kind of got to be new for everybody, really. Just kind of excited to see how it plays out.
Well, we can't wait to watch you. Has been a fantastic weekend, a fantastic start to this playoffs for you in all three of these series. So congratulations on a dominating win here at Nashville Fairgrounds tonight on this hot, slick track. And Andrew, we'll turn it over to you and let you give your shout outs.
Yeah, thanks to everybody that tuned in and showed up to race, and thank you guys for putting on the show. I want to thank our servicemen and women, my friends, family, my team, and if you're interested in checking us out, just head on over to racerselite.com. We've got racing almost every night of the week at times, but you can find all the info right on our website. Schedules, standings, Discord invites. Just shoot me a message on Discord and we'll get you all set up.
Well, fantastic win for you tonight here in Nashville. Go celebrate with your teammates, and hopefully we will speak to you in Winter Circle tomorrow night.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you for avenging me tonight too, because I picked you again, and you avenged that second place last night.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna be able to start the race there. I really lucked out. I guess equipment wise.
I picked you. I picked you there to win again because the short track dominator, and then I seen you blink out, and I'm like, oh boy.
Thanks, Andrew. Have a great night.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so what a show, what a finish from this gentleman right here. And I will tell you, Russ, just one of the more dominating performances that I believe you're going to see out here, especially at a short track like Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. I mean, the last couple of weeks, we've seen some really good races and really good battles. We've had exciting finishes. Tonight was a little bit more laid back, but it was still exciting at the same point because Andrew was just so dominant tonight that he lapped everybody except for the second place car. So, we go from exciting battles to just flat out exciting races. It's been a great playoff so far this season, and looking forward to these last 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. And not only will we be back with you next Wednesday, same time, same place, but we will be here Tuesday as well to go to the last few races that we have here in season 6 for the truck series. So just a couple more weeks here, Russ, and then we will crown 2 season 6 champions. It might very well be the same person in Andrew Teft here, as he put on a second place finish and a win tonight. Truth Hoke is going to be strong. Brandon Honeycutt's going to come back next week. All of these other drivers that have these fantastic races, man, I can't wait for next week, Russ.
Yeah, neither can I. Hope everybody will tune in, and thank you for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you guys next week.